This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO, Joe Costello here with you. We are back on the air right before the Auto Club Finals, the final race of the 2021 NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series season. Championships are on the line. They will be decided this weekend. It's bittersweet. The final race of the year. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. Hopefully you're out there on social media, watching on YouTube or Twitter or wherever you happen to watch WFO, and share the show, and let's build the audience and get a big watch party going as Cruz Pedregon joins us to talk about his big win out there in Las Vegas at the Dodge SRT Las Vegas Nationals, the 1000th NHRA national event. How amazing is that? And drove himself right back into contention for the World Championship. And right now, just 83 points out of the lead in a race that pays points and a half. It's going to be awesome. Cruz is just seconds away. Got to tell you about the people who make it possible for us to do WFO Radio. Really appreciative to these sponsors. And next year, we're going to have some new ones, different marketing partnerships. And it's been great to be able to do the show for these people like Torque Calibration Services of Australia. This is one you got to hit the website, torquecalibrationservices.com.au. These are Australian racers who love the drag racing community here in the States so much that they have stepped up to support Champions Week here in the NHRA. And they know, like, how many people can I possibly drive to their website, people in Australia that are racers, racing, how many people can WFO possibly reach down there? And it's not about that for them. They know that the audience is so devoted and devout that has connections down there that they'll do the passing of the word. They just want to be involved. And so check them out. Check out their website, torquecalibrationservices.com.au, for all your torque tool needs, keeping them current and, of course, purchase of new ones. That is Matt Clark down there. Just so appreciative of Matt for wanting to be involved with WFO Radio. And we're really bringing the world closer together with this show, especially the drag racing world. I don't know about everybody else. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, later today at 4 o'clock. Today at 4 o'clock, we're going live from the Total Seal social channels. You follow the Engine Performance Expo, you know there's a build project going on. They're at EFI University, Ben Strader's EFI University. They're going to be going live. Ben, Lake, myself, talking about the build project. How far have they gone? What are they going to do? EFI stats and figures on the build project, all going on as we speak. We're going live 4 o'clock Eastern time. So go to the Total Seal pages, whether it be Total Seal on YouTube, Facebook, the Facebook group. Check them out, totalseal.com. And it's been a great year for Total Seal. Yeah. All of those things. And samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. That's what I was thinking, school. I got ahead of myself. Speaking of technical schools, blockhead CNC programs, motorsport, EFI tuning, all of it. You got to be able to keep going in this business. Just forge forward. Samtech.edu, the next generation of engine builders, crew members, crew chiefs, all coming up through Samtech down there in the Houston, Texas area. And then Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, frankhawley.com. They've got the Dragster Adventure, which I think is a great gift come the holidays. Like, send your friend, your loved one who doesn't quite understand your addiction to drag racing on the Dragster Adventure with Frank Hawley, and all your problems will be solved. frankhawley.com. All right, let's bring him on. He won the theft. Forget everything else. To win the 1000th NHRA national event, period. What a great stat. Cruz, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Joe. How you doing, man? Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
I'm thrilled. Well, you know what? You're a very... we could be talking in January, and having Cruz on to talk about drag racing in the career is always interesting. But you're right in the middle of a championship fight, something that you made happen last offseason by deciding to go and work with Don Schumacher and hire on JC and Ryan and all those guys, and look at it. Now you're right in the championship hype, exactly as you would have hoped you were. You are coming in off a race win, a significant race win, the 1000th event of all time. So I'm looking back, I'm kind of thinking it was probably a pretty good decision.
Yeah, Joe, it really was. I mean, I think, if you look at the progression back several years ago, we went to Dodge Bodies, Don Schumacher Dodge Bodies. We bought DSR chassis. Don Schumacher Motorsports is the leg of his business that sells to competitors like myself. We're a single car team. Those cars were running so good, winning a lot of races. So we decided to slowly kind of align ourselves with a multi-car team and Don was gracious enough to sell us the equipment. And as a smart businessman as he is, it transitioned. We transitioned slowly to all that equipment, and then of course we hired one of the teams that he parked, the Tommy Johnson team, as it's well documented. I'm going to quit talking about that after this year, but I think it's I like to keep to keep that in perspective. But yeah, we did hire him, and and along with that, we also purchased. I went another step further and bought a lot of the engine components and some of the clutch discs and a lot of the parts, so that we would have a short learning curve. I wanted to make it as the transition as seamless as possible, Joe. So it's paid off. I mean, we did win Norwalk earlier in the year after about, I think it was 7th or 8th race, and then we kind of it took a while to find our sea legs, as they say. But man, I think at Brainerd, Minnesota, the Brainerd event was probably the start of where we're at now with the car. It's consistent. It's a hell of a car, and I'm just proud. Snap-on stuck with me through all the years to the struggles. We had some struggling years. I'm not going to lie. It's well documented, but yeah, here we are in the championship hunt. JC, John Collins, the guys are all excited. They're coming back. They're driving the rigs out here today from Vegas, and we'll be ready to rock.
I love it. Mama Enders is out there. Her daughter Erica is in a championship fight as well. Everybody checking in, wishing you good luck, saying what's up from wherever they are. Monica, hey, Cruz, congrats on the fantastic win. All of that. I think it's great. You have this fan base, right? And that's the thing about fans. Like, look at you with the Raiders. Like, you want to have something to cheer about that gets the gear out of the closet and gets people like beating on their chest a little bit. And you're giving your fans that here for this final race. I hope everybody's fans show up to this race in Pomona, California, the final race of the year.
Yeah, it was great. If you really look at the last few, Texas, we always have a good following in Texas. A lot of great fans there. Just down the stretch, a lot of people rooting us on. It's great to hear from some of the fans that have followed me that have witnessed the turnaround, and they're so excited. And I got to say, man, Vegas, we had such a good following there. There's a lot of folks from California that drove up, from Arizona, some of my peeps from around that area. So it's really cool to be in this position. I can't say enough, to win that race, the 1,000th. I didn't even realize it was the 1,000th NHRA event until the end of the race. So what an accomplishment. NHRA has been around a long time, and I didn't know they were even keeping track. But 1,000 sounds pretty good. They made the little medallions for us, and then the trophy. I don't know if you saw the trophy. You probably did, Joe, but it's black chrome, which is super cool. Then I got talked in after about 3 beers or so and some champagne. I got not talked into, but I'm going to buy the guys all the trophy, all the guys that were part of the team. And, these guys, the crew people, the team members, as I call them, man, they drive the trucks. They get up early in the morning. They work the late night. So those are the unsung guys. And I always say this I always reference the NFL because I'm a big NFL football fan, especially the Raiders. Those are the guys that really are in the trenches blocking. They're like the linemen and all the guys, and all of those guys are important to the whole overall equation. And so, it's great to recognize them and show them that, hey, we can win races. And like you said, we're back. We entered the Vegas race. We dropped from 3rd to 4th. So we really needed that, that little shot in the arm, I guess, or that little pick me up to get us back in there with a realistic shot at the championship. And like you said earlier, we're 83 points behind Caps with 1.5 points. That's a double-edged sword because you can move up really quick, or you can get chased down by some guys that are behind. So I think it's going to be great for the fans. I think it's going to be great for the competitors, and it's going to be one shot. We'll see where we stack up at the end.
That's great. No, that's what the sport needs. Big moments of drama. We spoke about it yesterday with Reinhardt, like this, the countdown, like this. This is the must-watch NHRA race of the century. Like, people have got to see it for whatever reason, whether it be Greg and Erica or for what's happening in Funny Car, Pro Stock Motorcycle. There's just so many things happening all at one time. It's going to be tough to keep track of, like whether or not NHRA has a 1,000th event. But how did we get here? Let's go back to round 1 in Vegas. You've been a part of many unbelievable round 1s, I'm sure. But what was this one like for you, seeing and refresh my memory? I don't remember which pair you guys went out, whether it was at the front of the queue or in the middle, being 7 and 10 qualifier. I would say probably, second pair out or something. But when the shocking upsets were happening, were you able to keep track of that? Oh my gosh, Hagen's out. Oh my gosh, JR's out. Oh my gosh, Force is out, right? I know Caps was at the back of the line, but what did that do to you wherever you were, mentality wise, knowing that the door was a little open and then it was more open and then it was wide open?
Well, as a driver, actually, we were seventh pair, so we were behind. I really, as a driver, you're preparing for the round, you're preparing for your opponent, and to be honest with you, I didn't really want to hear what was going on. I would rather have it been total silence in the car. But you could hear Reinhardt, you could hear each guy drop out. I remember vividly thinking, okay, he's out. And when the second guy went out, I think it might have been Force, and then the third guy, I believe it was JR. It added a little more pressure to our already pressure packed first round. But I think for us, what I'm most proud of is we answered the bell. The pressure was on. It was a matter of trying to go out there and just execute and do our thing, and we did that. And then it was round after round after that. But and the hits kept on coming. We had, I believe it was Robert Height and Caps were on the other side of the ladder. So we had a ladder. It wound up being working our favor a little bit, but we still had to go down the track. I remember racing Tasca in the semis. I thought, this is a really good opponent. He's trying to move up in the points. He's like we are. He's got a great car, and so we got that win. And I remember thinking, man, we might be able to mess around and win this race. And sure enough, in the final against Capser, it worked out for us.
Absolutely, it did, and that was big because he got through as well. He's the points leader. Let's make no mistake. He's 58 up on Hagen. You're 83 behind. Hagen is in the mix also, but you guys made it happen by going on, and you saved yourself. Like that final round, we would be talking about a totally different thing had he won and you didn't win, and they blew up, and you guys got down the racetrack. But that first round matchup, like each one of these big races, it's very difficult to quantify for listeners out there when I'm feeling on the starting line about the significance of this. Like you guys lose, that's it pretty much. And you guys were able to win 4 rounds with your back against the wall. At any moment, if you lose, chances are your championship hopes are over.
And you're right, Joe. It was that way for us really throughout the countdown. I mean, really, if you look at the countdown, there's only 6 races. So you really need to cash in and go rounds and get to our thing is, hey, let's get to the semis. And we've done a good job of that after our little mini Western swing. Like I said, Brainerd was kind of our breakthrough race. We kind of were going to the semis every race. And, we lost some close races. And so we felt like, man, if we could just get on a roll and just get into this countdown. So what I was getting at is the pressure's been on throughout the countdown. But I would have to say it was a little more pressure packed in Vegas because you're running out of races. You can't make up and do that. And I got to tell you, man, racing the newer opponents, some of these guys that are coming in from the Nostalgia series, like Tony Gerardo, good friend of mine. He's a Nostalgia racer, has top notch equipment. That's a JFR duplicate car. So they did run a 398 in qualifying. So I'm sizing him up thinking, man, this guy could jump up and run a 395 or something like that. So even though on paper you're thinking, oh man, he just had to race, Gerardo and Morel, but these guys have good cars. They have good equipment. Anything could happen. Like you said, our backs were against the wall. We slip up and shake, or those guys just flat out run us. We're going home. So sometimes I'd rather race a little bit of a known quantity. I didn't know how these guys staged. I kind of just went in there and just did my thing. But so it was. When we won that race, I was sitting there and we smoked the tires in the final. I brought the car. We were set. Let me just say this for JC, my crew chief, to say, hey, I forget exactly what he told me, but he basically said, we're going to step on the gas and we're going to push this thing. So for him to say that means this thing's going to be on max cackle, as they say. So we went out there not really knowing, but I thought, you know what, we're going to give it a shot. And the car left amazing. Had the front end up a little bit. I let it move to the inside a little bit, but by that time, Caps had already dropped back. So I got on off the throttle a couple times, and he wound up shutting me off, and we won the race. So when I saw that wind light come on at the end, Joe, I was just like, you know what? We just won this freaking race. So it was so amazing, and it still is. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Are you on a laptop? Are you talking to us on a laptop?
No, I'm on my phone.
Okay. I just there's a little bigger gap above your head than I would like, but don't move it if it's going to fall.
Okay.
Don't go crazy, but if you can tilt it down.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. I just I should have told you that before the show. I was just super excited. I was going to live with it. But I decided, no, man, we got to get Cruz absolutely correct here. We got some people asking some questions that instead of me asking the questions that they would ask, like, why not let them ask? Like Blake in Wyoming, like, Blake's been out there a lot, like to mentally prepare yourself for this race. Like what, you can build it up too much, right? Like you can, oh my gosh, this is the biggest race in the world. I got to do something, but you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that, Joe. The stakes are high. We all know what we have to do. And so I really think, as Bill Belichick, the New England Patriots head coach, says, really you just have to do your job and really not make it a big a deal. Because I think really to perform at a high level, you just really need to go out there and do what you've been doing all year. The car doesn't know what the stakes are. So it's really hard to do that, but you have to do that to be it's kind of race within yourself, so to speak. So as a driver, but sometimes it doesn't always work. Sometimes, the stakes are high, you get your adrenaline up and you get out there and you're too anxious. Then that's when you're not really in the right frame of mind. So you're right. You got to just kind of keep it in perspective and just go out there and just let it happen, so to speak.
I heard one of our listeners says you posted a photograph, which I did not see, out at the Nitro Revival. How was that? If you were there, what's the story with that?
Joe, that was the coolest thing. My girlfriend Melissa was bumping around on the internet like last week, and she saw the Revival. And I started reading the old school racers, some of the legends of our sport that were going to be there, and all the racers. So and also by a gentleman by the name of Mike Eldridge, I think. Bought my dad's coupe from the 60s that we rebuilt. So he was going out there. So we got together with him. We got tickets. We went to the event. Super cool. Perdome was there, the Snake, a lot of the legends my dad raced against. So we took some photos. My brother Frankie was out there with the old school nitro funny car, I believe, called Hellfire. And we went out there. Tony flew with his son out from Indianapolis. So it was really well attended, well done. So really get to see some of the older cars, and it's something that you see at a hot rod reunion, but it was in Irwindale, which is the little track there, right, not too far from Pomona. So it was a really cool event. We did that on Saturday and watched some football on Sunday.
That's awesome. No, great stuff. And how important are events like that? We don't have them back east because it wasn't the whole scene. We had a couple of tracks, and we definitely had our own scene, but a lot of it's been washed away. We're trying to hold on to, the one or two tracks that we have still. So, the nostalgia scene doesn't exist, but out there, like I want to get to the March meet one of these days. But even like that, it sounded like a smaller event, but come on, you, Snake, Tony, like you guys are all there. You've got I saw the Hellfire car. I saw your dad's car out at the Winter Nationals, right? Isn't that where they debuted at the Winter Nationals in the summertime? So I got to see that thing. Is fantastic. I can't imagine that though, like the first time around. Now looking at it, it's like, wow, that looks crazy unsafe. And what was he thinking to get in that? The first time around, that had to be this like a wicked machine. Like how did that even come together,
Yeah, Perdome said it best. The Snake said it best years ago. He said, that's all they knew. If you look at the Top Fuel dragster, that was state of the art to them in the 60s. And, my dad, one of the reasons why my dad retired, he would tell us when we were kids, he says, it was dangerous. He was losing some of his friends. So, but I think it's important to have these events, Joe. And let me tell you, there's some really great racers from the state of Florida where you live, Garlits, the Northeast. There's a lot of great racers that even come out here and bring some of the well-known cars from that era. Custom Body car. Remember the Custom Body car? Yes. Beautiful car. Well, that was a New York-based car. And so, but we remembered the car as kids. Man, Custom Body, that's such a cool car. And some Italian dudes that owned a body shop owned it, and it was really colorful and cool. And then Jimmy Proc's dad, Tom, drove the car. So they were out there. So, yeah, I think it's important because, hey, let's face it, Joe, these guys that race these cars, they're not going to be around forever. Some of them are, not with us, and they're older. So I think it's important for the fans to see what hooked us all. As I was telling some of the racers that I met, I says it was your era that hooked us, Pedregon brothers, to this sport, because my dad had retired well before we were old enough to really know what it was about. So I think it's important to have these events to show the beginnings of the sport, the beginning of nitro racing, and so yeah, I think it's so cool. And I saw Ed McCullough, my former teammate from the McDonald's. He was out there, looked great. Ed the Ace, Richard Tharp, Ron Tobler was out there. So Waterbed Fred Miller.
Wow.
It's just so cool to see these guys. Yeah, oh yeah, it was an all-star. It was an all-star event. So I want to thank Steve Gibbs for putting the event on, and his daughter Cindy. They worked hard. I think it's the fourth annual, I think. So look for that to happen again this upcoming year, and next year. So yeah, we'll be out there again.
All right. So on that note, though, let's delve into something that's not so pressure packed and intense as the Camping World Series. And this may be a plant question, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me coming up with this. But what's up with this, Cruz? When are we going to see this on the racetrack, Cruz? You can't you can't have a car like that and not race it, Cruz. What's up with that?
I know. Well, okay, tell you what I did with that, Joe. I got tired of going out there hurting the motor. It's a beautiful car. So I revamped it. I changed the chassis to a Murph McKinney chassis instead of the old school Pluger car, which was era correct, but it had some features that I didn't care for. So I've completely redone the car. It's got new cylinder heads, different camshafts, so the car will run better and breathe better, not burn pistons. So we're going to test that car this summer, and I've been saying this, but we absolutely have a car that's ready to go. It won't look any different. It's the beautiful California Charger, funny car that we recreated from 1977, and it will be the only events that I'm really interested in running are the West Coast Bakersfield March Meet or the Hot Rod Reunion in Bakersfield. So we're going to run it a little bit. In fact, we might even take it down to Florida, Joe, during this off season. Just to make some hits with it, try to get the motor, make sure the motor's, going to work right, and the clutch and all that stuff. So we're going to take it out next year. I promise you, I said it here. 2022, the California Charger will return.
That's great. Great to hear. Great to hear. And I hear it's got to run, what is it, 569 or better to open the potential window of Mr. Caleb Cox to get in there. Is that what's the real deal?
That's it. Well, I told Caleb Cox has been a great employee for us. He wears many hats, and so I told, and he's an aspiring driver. He does mixed martial arts now. He played football, so I think he'd be a great candidate to put in the car and let him make some laps in it. But I told him, hey, we got to run 5.69 or better, lofty but very doable, because I think this combination that we're putting in, it'll run mid 560s. With ease.
Wow. Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm excited about the off-season project, but what comes first comes first. Darren Moran wants to know, next year, what does your program look like next year? I think this is a question that's something like, is everybody back? Are you guys ready to go? Is this team that has proven to be so strong together going to stay together?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. We're already, in fact, we've been planning the last month or so, parts purchasing, and we're a lot of these things, what's going on with our country now, Joe, is some of the materials that are overseas that they're being shipped. A lot of the things are affecting us, even in the drag racing world. The materials to make pistons, I mean not pistons, but floaters, clutch discs, and all that. So we're already planning our off-season purchases. We just ordered some new blocks from AJ. So really, we're already planning on getting out there and testing for next year and doing all the things. So I think what's exciting for us with JC and this whole team is we really didn't have an off season last year. It was a matter of getting the guys in January, and we were thrashing. So they never really had time to get in there and really outfit the trailer the way they wanted to, and all the different things that goes into changing a program over. I mean, let's face it, they were at DSR for the better part of 10 years. So for us, an off season, a normal off season will only help us come out and be even stronger for 2022.
And on that note, let me talk to the owner of the car. I'm excited that you're in this final race and everything, but can only hype it so much because we got Q1 on Friday, right? Q1 under the lights, sun going down, Pomona. Like, there's nothing better to all the fans out there. Like, those of you who get to sit in the grandstands and watch it, there's nothing better. But NHRA 2022, wow, a barrage of good news, interesting news, positive things, people coming in, people expanding, who was running 4 races, they're going to run 10 races, who was running 10 races, going to run 15 races. The whole Tony Stewart news, I hope is going to bring a new set of eyes and fans at these races. You're in the middle of all of it. You're feeling it. You're hearing it. Like, what is your assessment about momentum in the sport of Camping World drag racing? Like, is that a real thing that people are feeling, like this blast of good news?
It is. The fact that Tony Stewart's coming in with a 2-car team, and he's going to continue to, to build that program. And also, I'm interested to see what Don Schumacher does, if he's going to add another funny car and build his program back up. And so I think, really, like you said, Joe, it's a lot of exciting news. There's some racers that are, Josh Hart. I mean, this guy, Josh, is I've got to know Josh a little bit away from the track a little bit. Really cool guy. He's got a great program with Ron Douglas. So, you're going to have probably some new people move around with some, with Salinas. I know Mike fairly well. And so when he announces his crew chief, and then AJ going over to sounds like Coletta. So there's going to be some movement. And I think it's going to be movement for the better. Top Fuel is, and my buddy, I'm good buddies with the Torrance family, love Steve and his whole family. But I'd like to see them mix it up with some other cars. So I think next year is going to provide that exact scenario where there's going to be Steve's going to have some real competition to race with. And not that he doesn't this year, but I think, like Funny Car, I mean, there's a lot of cars that can win the race, and in Top Fuel, it seems like it narrows down a little bit. But so I think really overall drag racing's headed in the right direction. I'm always reaching out and talking to Glenn Cromwell and those guys at NHRA to see if there's anything I can do. Me, I'm a proponent of, hey, we're partners with NHRA. Let's build them up. Let's try to do what we can to make it more exciting. And the schedule is already out. It's going to be cool. There's some different races that we have to look forward to. So yeah, it's all good. Snap-on is on board. I've signed a multi-year deal with them, so we're set. The team's set. So it's just a matter of, I really look forward to, like I said, I can't say it enough, to spend an off season with what we have, what we built. And like they say, Rome wasn't built overnight. And for us to be in this position is really a bonus for us. Who knows what we would have, with the hiring of these guys. I didn't know what to expect, but in some ways we've exceeded expectations. But I look forward to having another off season and trying to get better.
Absolutely. Make the most of it, right? Jim wants to know who you got in the Rookie of the Year battle. I think you just kind of already answered that, but since everybody wants to know, Rookie of the Year, everybody's talking about it. It's a great battle. 2 young racers. You got a pro stock guy with 3 wins, 6 finals. Josh Hart won his first race, has 2 wins in Top Fuel. It's a tough call. People are laboring to make the decision. What do you think?
Well, I spent a little time with Glenn. Glenn's first name again is
Dallas.
Glenn. Dallas. Yeah. Yes. Nice person. Hell of a driver. I've paid attention. He seems like he can cut those lights, which is what you have to do, especially in pro stock. But I say that's going to be he's making an argument. Maybe if he can have a great event or a solid event here, I think he might have to go his way. He's winning the races and he's winning them late. It's like a boxing match, Joe. You got to win the last 30 seconds or the last 15 seconds. That's important to finish strong, and he's doing that.
What a great analysis. And it is true, right? Like, what happened in the first 30 seconds of the round? Nobody knows what happened in the last 30 seconds. But then again, if Josh Hart goes out there and wins the Auto Club finals, that would be maybe a mic drop moment too. So we'll just have to see. Super excited for you to be in this moment, to have a chance to win a championship.
Yep.
At the final race. Like, that's what it's really about. If the racing gods smile on you, then that would be great. But if not, you still got, max excitement on this year for your fans. And that's really all you can ask. Cruz, thank you very much. Good luck. I'll see you in a couple of days. And we're going to watch you go for, it's NHRA National Event 1001 from what I hear.
Right. No, it is. It's going to be good. I think, for us, we're going to come out swinging. And, hey, if we can't win the championship, whoever does, we're going to shake their hand and congratulate them and say, hey, man, we'll catch you down the road. And, but it's going to be a battle. Hey, anything can happen to these races. And I got to say this one thing. Ron Capps, we had a little meeting there with the well, it's supposed to be 5 contenders. Force didn't show up for some reason. So Capps said it best, and I'll never forget this. He said, when we all wake up in the morning, for Sunday morning in this case, we don't know what's going to happen. We're all a little nervous, butterflies, but that is exactly right. We have no idea what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure our car's going to run well. It's going to be warm conditions. It's going to bring guys a little closer together as far as the spread. I don't think there'll be a big spread. I think the 380s will be hard to come by, but either way, it'll be an exciting race. So look forward to it.
That's great. Yeah, the stage deal that we did. Force, we were off getting ready. Force showed up like 5 minutes later, and we got him on. And I asked him, I was like, "Did you do this on purpose?" And he goes, "I prefer to work the stage alone," which he was joking. He was just late, but thank goodness.
Force is a crafty old veteran. But go ahead. He
is. No, but if Force was on stage, there wouldn't have been room for everybody. Like I would have had to bail out.
Would have fallen off. One of us would have probably fallen off. So yeah.
We were almost falling off as it was. Cruz, good luck. I'll see you in a couple of days. Thank you for making the time here on WFO Radio.
All right, Joe. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Later, brother. Thank you. Good luck to you this weekend. Cruz Pedregon with us here on WFO Radio. Look at this. Absolutely the best interview ever with Cruz, says Jim. My goodness, Jim, that's an exaggeration, no doubt. Come on. Cruz has been on this show many other times and has given better interviews, right? Like where we get into like controversial stuff. Whereas this is he's got to get his mental going on for the finals. All right, open conversation, guys. Put your comments in the comment section, whatever you got for about 10 minutes. We will address whatever you got. No, Jim agrees. Great interview. And Monica agrees. It's a great interview. All right, I retreat from my position. Yes, greatest ever. Greatest interview ever on WFO Radio. Share, retweet, repeat. Let your friends know. Copy and paste the link. Check out our new merch store. Yeah, we're adding to the merch store. I put the link in the comments section. We're adding to the merch store. Wide effing open T-shirts, mugs, all kinds of stuff, pillows, pillowcase. Like it's amazing all the stuff you can get delivered to your home. And Monica, actually, this young lady here, she got ordered something, and I was tracking, and it got there fast, which was very surprising, and I have nothing to do with any of this as far as fulfillment. So it's the fulfillment of a personal dream. What is this? Joe was scared to bring up FP. No, I don't think so. I'm not scared to bring up anything. I got all my new merch that I ordered. Sometimes it's not appropriate to bring up certain things, but no, we have WFO. We bring up everything. Let's see what Steve says. If Josh Hart wins the finals and Dallas Glenn does not win, then they both have 3 wins for the season. How about co-rookie of the year? If Josh doesn't win and neither does Dallas, then Dallas should be rookie of the year because he has 3 wins. And yeah, it's kind of the way I'm leaning on the whole deal. Rookie of the year, I'm kind of leaning in the direction of, first of all, nobody really deserves to be a loser in this bunch. They're both great. But what Cruz just said, winning the last 30 seconds of the round, is very important. And Dallas just participated in what might be a pivotal victory. Dallas Glenn won the 1,000th NHRA national event, and he took out his team owner or his mentor, or however you want to call it, Greg Anderson's nearest rival in the final round, which would, may factor into the championship. And so, like right now, it's very, we don't know. But he has 3 wins and I believe 6 final rounds. Josh Hart has 2 wins, I think, in 2 final rounds, maybe 3. If Josh Hart wins the Auto Club finals and they both end up with 3 wins, and it's so tough. Like I am in favor of co-rookie of the year. I'm in favor of that if they end up tied, because nobody deserves to lose. At the same time, what if they both win? Josh and Dallas. Then Dallas has 4 and Josh has 3, and Dallas has 7 finals. Like, where does he finish? 2nd in the points? Who knows? 3rd, like being 3rd in the points and making the countdown. That's valuable. This is not easy. It's not an easy decision. Running all the races, making the countdown. It's not worthless. It's something. And if we're putting grams on a balance, right? We're, like this one and this one and this one and this one and this one. Those are all stats. Won the 1,000th national event. Like, is that worth anything? Yeah, I think it should be. The trophies were black. You won one of those special black trophies. It's more important than winning just a regular race, winning a countdown race at all, like winning a countdown race, winning a race in the countdown period, at all. Is that worth something? Yeah, it is. It's worth something. It's worth something over a regular event. And so if we're stacking up the elements, that's going to cause a vote from one to the next. They are stacking up, at least as of right this second, in favor of Dallas, but that doesn't take anything away from Josh, this is why it's a very difficult thing. Here's some of the WFO gear that is out there and available in our merch store. And I'm super excited to see people getting that stuff, for the holidays. All right. Again, I want to shout out the sponsors before we get into your comments and your questions and your thoughts. Like, I want your opinions now, guys, like race fans. This is why we do it live, so you can weigh in on some opinions. But my opinion is that the folks at Torque Calibration Services of Australia, torquecalibrationservices.com.au, you should go to their website. And if you are friends with people who do business in racing in Australia, I'm asking you to refer them to torquecalibrationservices.au, because they are sponsoring our championship week here on WFO Radio. All of our programming for 1 week. Thank you, Torque Calibration Services. And everybody else who steps up to support WFO Radio, like our Patreons, patreon.com/WFO Radio. And you can go to the website, WFOradio.com, and become a Patreon, become a member, become part of the secret society. We are doing all kinds of special stuff behind the scenes that, is there specific information for the Patreons? Do they get to know certain things? They're definitely part of the advisory board. I'll give you an example. When we were trying to figure out which merch should go up in the store, right? They got to decide. They got to decide that the shirt on the left was the one that we went with. And that they got to decide. Like, I used their input. I ultimately decide. But and I decided what they decided. So it's kind of cool being a Patreon, being a WFO Patreon. Yeah, you got to pay. Yes, you got to pay. You're a member. You can quit at any time. That's your business. You can do whatever you want. And I always like to say, you really get nothing special. That way your expectations are zero. And when your expectations are zero, the world is your oyster, because everything seems great. That's how I go through life, by the way. Expectations, zero. Marvin Rodak sets pretty high expectations. Love this guy. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. And it's the holiday season. And this is where I start telling everybody, your Christmas gift getting can become complex and stressful. There's a lot of people who stress out over buying gifts for the holidays. And this is a winner. A Rodax holiday pack. It is a winner. Pound of coffee, bottle of hot sauce, container of his 826 spice rub. It's like a kit for positive life. You get your friend, you find out, maybe ask them what kind of coffee they like, or maybe not. You just send it their way, and they have this great experience. 817-924-6821. Marvin Rodak. And to me, I send them out like everybody gets the same thing. Everybody gets the same thing, guys. This is not the 70s where everybody gets something different. No, everybody gets the same thing. You get some Rodax coffee, and they love it every year. Everybody loves it. And then they end up calling Marvin on a regular basis, which is twofold, because we love Marvin. 817-924-6821. Here's one coming up later today, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Total Seals Facebook page and group. You can go there right after the show. The previews are already up. And watch Hidden Horsepower live. Ben Strader from EFI University and Lake Speed Jr. are going to be on location doing an engine build. And we've been talking about it at the Engine Performance Expo. And this is the engine that is going in the car and all that stuff. And we'll be doing, half hour to an hour live later today, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, talking about Total Seal and Hidden Horsepower and all that. If you're building an engine, you should definitely use Total Seal piston rings. I have been bombarded with knowledge. And everything that I've known, the tech talks have been great. But now the season is over. And so the best way to get a hold of them is to just email or call or hit them up on social media, totalseal.com. Big thanks to those guys. samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. We always say, start your education at full speed. Samtech, Blockhead CNC program, motorsport EFI tuning. They do it all. It's for the forward-thinking folks who want to be involved in motorsports. I know we got a lot of young people out there, young people who are wondering, how can I make something that I love also my career? These guys that I always encounter from Samtech, whether they're working on Stanfield's team or they're working throughout the sport, they all seem pretty happy to me. That's all I can say. And they got hired because they graduated from Samtech. And the people who hired them knew that they had received a worthwhile foundational knowledge. What more can you ask for? If you're looking to go to a technical school, samtech.edu, check them out. And then there's Frank Hawley's drag racing school for you guys who want to be a baller at Christmas time and get a great gift. The Dragster Adventure, they go around the country. So let's say you've got a good friend that lives in Oshkosh, right? And where are they going to go? You go to Frank Hawley's drag racing school. You look at the Dragster Adventure. You look at the schedule. You find out all of that stuff. You work it out with Frank. You just present them with a certificate. You pay in advance, give them a certificate, and they get to use the certificate whenever they want and go on the Dragster Adventure. And if they take the certificate from you and throw it away, then they really didn't deserve this gift. Just saying. And there you have it. Jerry Emmons in the championship hunt this weekend. Got that WFO sticker still on there. Things to look for. Things to watch out for as we get ready for the Auto Club Finals. The finals this weekend. Bittersweet. Kind of sad. As soon as I hang up, I'm going to hang up. I'm going to, get ready for Total Seal at 4:00, but go pack my bag pre-flight. Get ready. Alan is on his way out there and Brian is on his way out there and everybody's moving. You see them on Twitter doing their, Twitter travel things. And I'm super excited to get out there, but also a little bummed that the season is over. I want you all to know that WFO continues through the off season. This is going to be a little different with the live streams, right? How often will the shows happen? We're going to be at PRI in the Total Seal booth. I will be up there at the PRI show. So if you're going to PRI, make plans to come by and watch a Hidden Horsepower live from the Total Seal booth. But we've also got a couple of different things. ePart Trades got me doing some seminars, and it's going to be a busy winter break, at least leading into the holidays. And then January, WFO continues. So we ask you to watch on YouTube, WFO Radio TV on YouTube. And I'm going to be doing some interesting stuff as well with my own engine at home as we disassemble and reassemble and put things together. So, you've been great as listeners of WFO, as watchers, and viewers, and people who come on board and that get it, that are part of the WFO universe. All right. This has all been a stall job for you guys to come up with some great comments. And let's see if we have any. See, I love this guy. That was an okay interview, Joe. That's what I love. Enough of the sucking. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, it was so great. This guy, just okay, Joe. That's what I thrive on, right? I thrive on it. No, Derek says, great interview. Cruz let it slip. So now I wonder if Aaron Brooks stays and goes to Sean's car or what. Yeah, Cruz. Not very tight-lipped with other people's rumors. he just put it out there, right? Well, AJ's going here, and what's going to happen with Mike Salinas, and what's going to happen with this guy and that guy, and who's coming out with the second team, and all of that, which is why WFO is so great. All you have to do is watch, and you'll get the information. You join us each week, you'll get the information. I don't need to come on and, blow a horn about something that is known or unknown. It all comes out. And I think organically is the best way. Joe, are you going to Pomona? Yes, sir. Yes, I am. Jim Essex, how about them new Patreons? Jim is one of the new Patreons. You're going to get your own special welcome. Maybe that'll happen today. Everybody gets welcomed. That's part of it. Got all the new merch that I ordered. That is great. Okay, here's where we start. I found the top. Thoughts on screw blowers being allowed in Pro Mod. So I heard Reinhardt say he was not into it. I am all for multiple combinations. I don't want to do anything that's going to kill Alcohol Funny Car. I love Alcohol Funny Car. But I know that a lot of those Midwest Pro Mod guys run the screw supercharger combination. And why should they not be allowed to race? Right? Like, you've got series out there, and you got racers that are out there, and they got a combination. They got, let's call it, I'm going to make up a number now, $150,000 into something, which is amazing because the only thing that I got $150,000 into is like a house, right? So they're doing real well. They're racing. They're racers. They're good at what they do. Why shouldn't they be able to test their metal at the highest level? Why not? Well, we don't allow that. Why not? Well, it's a combination that we don't have. Why not? And I feel that way about so many different things. NHRA drag racing is not the only drag racing. It's not the only drag racing. There's drag racing everywhere. That's why I hashtag all my stuff with drag racing, because there's a lot of drag racers that don't run in the NHRA, but they're great racers just the same. Look at Lyle Barnett. Look at J.R. Gray. Look at, there's countless others, right? Those guys on, that's Ryan Martin, No Prep Kings guy. He won his No Prep Kings championship. I watched them race. There's all kinds of great drag racers that run all over the place other than drag racing, than NHRA. Why wouldn't we try to welcome as many of them into what I deem to be the major leagues of drag racing? Like, what is the NFL of drag racing? What is the Major League Baseball of drag racing? That is definitely the National Hot Rod Association, just about to complete its 70th year and move on to another millennium of national events, into our 1,001st national event. It's not even a debate and not even an argument. Why would you not try to welcome as many people as is possible to participate without having to sell all their stuff and buy new stuff, which, nobody's going to do. So I like it. And what we do know is this. If one power adder or combination is going to run wild on everybody else, it's only going to be for a little while. Like, okay, the Pro Chargers this year, they ran wild on everybody else. Things were not equal at the very beginning of the year, and they won the championship. But they were pretty equal at the end of the year. And, so Stevie Fast and Billy didn't win their third consecutive. Jose Gonzalez, committed to the Pro Charger, and he went out there and he had a good start to the season. Justin Bond did as well, and they got too far out there and they won. Okay, but at the end of the year, there's no way to make sure things are equal or equivalent immediately right at the beginning. Like, there's no way. Like, things have to run their course. Like, you get a cold, you're not going to be better tomorrow. I had a cold last week. You're not going to be better tomorrow. It's got to run its course. So when a new power adder comes in, they're going to have to run it. They're going to have to see. They're going to have to see not just one racer, but multiple. How's it looking? An aggregate of numbers and data. And if the screw supercharger is dominating over everybody else, they'll find a way to pull it back to within a range that makes it competitive. And the other people who spent $200,000, their stuff is not, garbage. I know a lot of people don't like it, and the most vocal have been the Ford fans in Factory Showdown. And, it was really sad. I don't want to get too controversial, but kind of lying to the world that NHRA has got a beef against Ford fans because they just don't like Ford people. You see them all over the social media. It's really kind of a terrible thing to suggest, but whatever. People are allowed to suggest way worse than that on the social media. With this new factory experimental, guess what? Factory Showdown is in the neighborhood. Next year, the Fords should come back. They're going to be faster. They're faster than what we got right now already, but they're closer. And the Ford guys, they did get upset for a valuable reason. Like, hey man, why are we always the ones that have to spend the money and do the work to make our cars equal? Like, you hit us a bunch of times and we did it. How about you hit those guys and make them a little faster? And to me, that's actually very worthwhile. Why don't the people on social media say logical stuff like that? It's really bad, terrible thing, except for the fact that you can get the show, which is why I suggest you go to YouTube. I'm all about, but owning your team should count. I'm all about pro stock, but owning your team should count. Yeah, I think that does count. I think it does count. I think it does. Josh Hart made a purchase and bought a team, and he's the team owner. Definitely counts. It, how are you scoring it? Account for how much? Some would say, well, that's just the ability to write a check. So, what's that worth? It all depends on how you want to score it. I'm scoring it. It's tough. Very difficult. Rookie of the Year ballots were due Monday, so it seems we've got what we've got concerning Rookie of the Year accomplishments. Thank you, Monday Morning Racer. Yeah, I'm kind of aware of that and against it. That's the kind of thing that, how do you make a call like that before the season is over? But they did, and it's not my call, and there's nothing I can do. And so I'm just going to choose to move beyond it, and then in the future lobby for the change that I think is right. Like the Auto Club Finals. Like, let's look at it the other way. Dallas Glenn goes out there and wins the Auto Club Finals and finishes with 4 wins, but Josh Hart wins the Rookie of the Year. You know, I think people would have voted differently, or vice versa. I think the finals, you know, they count for points and a half, so they should count for more in Rookie of the Year. Got my WFO tattoo ready to take the blood oath. Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Yeah, but that happens behind the scenes, and we really don't talk of such things in the public. That's Patreon only, the blood oath. Looking ahead to next year, Pro Stock should be incredible. New teams, Bo returning Pro Stock dreams. Well, yeah, I don't know who this is, but I can't help but think about Camry Caruso and Mark Caruso, who I think is, I just think the world of him and his dad and that family, and I like what they do, and they've welcomed me on their own show. They do a show like this from time to time, and we've done Shots of Fireball together. And watching Camry's career kind of figure out what she's going to do. And I really don't know how long that they've had this plan. But, you know, out of respect for Erica, she needs to be viewed as this trailblazing pioneer, except you can't view someone as a trailblazing pioneer if nobody follows them down the trail they blaze. And Erica, for how long now, has been the only lady racer to have the courage to go into Pro Stock. You know, yeah, well, I didn't really want to run Pro Stock because, you know, because why? Because it's easy? It's not easy. It's really hard. Like, I don't like to compare how hard things are between one another. But I love the fact that Camry Caruso is going to be staging up a Pro Stock car. And there's a lot of rumors circulating around that team as well. And that's exciting. And Bo, having Bo back, and like the Halloween deal. You know, Bo was out there and Randy Lynn was out there, and they did you know, costumes and stuff. But thing about Bo is that, you know, he's a good, genuine, professional level race car driver. He knows how to win. He's got a nose for the winner's circle. He knows how to do it. And he's got a lot of people around him that are good people that I like. It's going to make it better. 2022 is going to be great, but let's not do that. Let's not jump ahead, guys, because 2021, the real deal is this. How about this? If you are anywhere near Pomona, California, you should go to the race. What's holding you back? Right? Like the pandemic, you know, I always am reticent to say the pandemic is over because it's not. I just talked to a guy on the phone just now. His sister died a couple weeks ago. I was blown away. I was floored. And it's like, oh, you know, don't say the pandemic is over. But you have more tools to protect yourself, if you so choose, than ever before. We have a whole season of outdoor events to look back on and think about what has happened. And I think the data is pretty solid. Like, I think we want to see as many people at this event as is possible. So if you're there, you know, I would get some tickets. And that Friday night session, amazing. Yeah, I have a 14-year-old already thinking of that direction of tech school. Well, I was never attracted to cubicle working. That's why I do radio broadcasts. I want every day to be different. I want to affect the outcome of every day. You know, want to switch it up. And all that cubicle life, the sitcoms and the talk shows and office space, like, where do they get that from? You know, somebody coming in and telling you, that's why I do WFO. That's why I sling Patreons and great sponsors like Torque Calibration Services and Marvin Rodak. Like, this is me. I got into radio because it was super fun. But then I realized, oh my gosh, it's a horrible corporate atmosphere. It's a horrible corporate atmosphere, like the worst you can possibly imagine. And so doing this has freed me. But if I could go back later in life, I've got this really, you know, I would call it a deep curiosity for all the stuff that I'm learning on hidden horsepower and seeing these guys that are deep thinkers and machinists try to figure out stuff, try to make things better, try to improve things. And Even if you're not working on high performance engines, you could be working on something that matters. And by the way, the job is very much in demand. We'll either be doing that, maybe an electrician, maybe a plumber. See, my dad was involved in concrete and masonry, and he forbid me to go down that road because it's just a very, very challenging business. And I overlearned the lessons. Lynette, see you there. Yes, everybody better say what's up. Elton John reference. Wow. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, Jim. How'd you pick that up? Rocket Man. Safe travels, Joe. I'm packing my bags right now. See you there. Santino was out there in Vegas, and I got to see him for 2 seconds riding by on a golf cart. Hey, that's it. This guy claims to have a stalker coming. Santino. Should we start applying the pressure? You going to send us build pictures? Santino? Come on, man. Next year. Hi, Joe. I hope you're keeping well. Have a great finals. Hope to see you next year as travel restrictions have been lifted. Yeah, I guess this is someone from the international audience. Great to see people coming in from England and from all over, wherever they're allowed to come. Great to see. Again, I know there's some people that are still, it all depends, right? Like I just talked to my friend, and my friend is very upset. Obviously, why? But where we were in September compared to where we were in February and March, things run their course. People are upset about the supply chain and all this. Things run their course. Everything is connected to, we stopped the world economy last year for a reason that was of significant importance. Remember all those people who said, oh, it was nothing, it was no big deal, it was just the flu, it was no big deal. Well, now nobody says that anymore because everybody knows somebody, and probably multiple people. Nobody says that. We don't go back and try to find those people and tell them, boy, you were really wrong, you misled your friends. We don't do that. But nothing goes back to normal overnight. I had a cold last week. I still don't feel 100%. I'm like 98% and getting better every single day. That's how it works. So, you have to moderate your expectations, I think. We're going to the Auto Club Finals. We're going to run the last race of the year. When we get back for the Winter Nationals, we're going to be a totally different place, I hope. And, the people who continue to perpetuate stuff, like that's their choice. They're choosing it. You don't have to. Like I said, more tools than ever before. Happy hour. There's going to be some happy hour shows, Jeff. Definitely. Drinking on the air with my friends. Love it. Be there. Stupid question. Oh, I love ones that start like this. Stupid question, Joe. Will there be any sportsman categories participating in Pomona this weekend? I should already know this. The answer is yes. That is a stupid question. Of course there will. We got championships to be decided. Stock Eliminator. What else? Super Comp will be decided in Pomona. We got championships, and I'm going to be running around the pits looking for a couple of vehicles for attention in the pits. I don't even want to tell you how many shows we got to do to get through the off season. But yeah, there's a new one, by the way, with the Pontiac station wagon. Please share that one, guys. You ever see my stuff? You got to share it. Wow, Joe, you actually know how to rebuild a motor. Steve Gold. No, I don't. That's what this process is going to be. I know how to disassemble a motor. I know I have a friend who is going to come over who is a very expert level guy, profession. And we're going to go through a process at my house, and things that I can't do, I'm not going to do because I'm not stupid. But I'm going to try to learn as much as I can. That's it. The curiosity, the knowing, the doing. And this is the thing, the problem with the kids these days. And I had this conversation with my little nephew, and he was very receptive, and I was very proud of it, that when someone wants to teach you how to do something, even if you're not going to get it all the first time, but like show you, explain to you something, and they're knowledgeable and you're not, you should be paying them. You should be paying them. Like there are things that I've been able to do where I'm like, I can't believe this person is teaching me this. I can't believe I'm getting to learn it, because once I learn this, I'm going to be able to do so much more. And I think that's something that, a lot of people out there don't quite get. But yeah, I'm super stoked, man. We're going to take this thing apart. We're going to look at stuff. We're going to learn. We're going to put it back together. We're going to put it back in the car. I'm going to try to run Super Street. I was waiting to see what else he would spill. Cruz? Yeah, I was too. Like, oh, Cruz. Know any other rumors out there, Cruz? What else you got? And that's the thing, guys. Like, come on. Part of knowing is knowing that you don't know. Part of like advancing in the world, right? How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? All these things that are coming out now, and I'm not saying that I knew them. Maybe a couple of them I did, maybe a couple of them I didn't. Maybe I heard, maybe it was a rumor, but a lot of this stuff has been decided for a long time. They know stuff about 2023 and 2024. That's how you run businesses and such. You don't drive a car over the hood. You got to look way out there. That's what the stick man is about too with Steve Johnson. You got to look way out there. The most successful people are looking way out there, and they've got a plan, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 2 months. Do you think that these racing guys, all these people who have been so successful, they haven't had a plan? They haven't been working a plan or following a strategy and, maybe adjust, course correct along the way? Yeah. And so when more news continues to drop about who, what, when, where, why, it'll be very intriguing. But yeah, he definitely let some secrets out. On the Aaron Brooks question, from what I know from the Foley Lewis racing team, Aaron's Coletta deal was just from ZMAX fall to the end of 2021. Yes, Monday Morning Racer. Speaking of the Foley Lewis racing team, I saw Doug out there at maybe it was Vegas. They all seem to blur together. It might have been Bristol. Here's what I will say. First of all, Doug Foley, I got to get him on the show immediately in the off season. Number one. Number two, he told me that something along the lines of this. What's the word? Schmidt or get off the pot. Something like this. They know they've got a team. They know they're good. They know they love doing this. He loves doing it. He's a middle-aged guy. Let's go. Let's run as many races as we can. And I agree with that. All the people who have been, they got a car in the garage and they've been running 2 races and assessing the situation and waiting for the right moment to jump in because maybe stop it. Go drag racing because tomorrow may never come. That's the lesson that we've all learned. You got something cool going on? Do it now. And that's why I pulled the engine out of my car, because there will never be a right time. That's what people say about having kids. I didn't do that, though. Any other WFOers buy a spot on Alex's car? Yeah, I promoted the heck out of Alex Laughlin's deal. How many other WFOers, in addition to Derek? Derek, tell me where the spot is, and I'll go take a picture and I'll tweet it, of WFO listeners who are on Alex Laughlin's car, which, by the way, total success. Way to go, Alex Laughlin. Crowd-sourced a race in Top Fuel. Should be something that people talk about, and we will. Good job, Alex. Now, I don't think the whole field has got the ability to do that, but good job, Alex. Tony Ross, always great for drag racing to set it up for cars to run multiple series. If the screw blower allows the Midwest Pro Mod cars to cross over to the NHRA, it's a very good thing. Now, there's some safety stuff also, and I don't know exactly all of their rules over there, but the screw blower is allowed over there. And so, yes, exactly. You got a bunch of things happening. It's amazing. I don't know everything at all. My knowledge level is weak compared to some, but who are you comparing me to, right? And so I see the things that are on social media and I do the old facepalm, oh my gosh, it's so sad that these people are having a really detailed and in-depth conversation, making point and counterpoint, and it's all wrong. It's just none of it's true. It's just a total reality that is fake and incorrect about rules and people and things. And it's sad and shocking, but it's motorsports. It's technical. There's a lot going on, but you can bet anytime that there's a new category that starts, a bunch of people are going to get in because they think that they're going to be able to be out there and compete and race and whatever. And as time goes by, it's going to get narrower and narrower because there's only a couple people that can do it and win. And that's, when you look at Top Fuel and Funny Car and you think about the staying power. I know a lot of people are like, oh, all these new categories, that's where it's at because everybody's there. Yeah, we got 40 Pro Mods and now we have 20. Why do we only have 20? Because all those people realize they can't do it. You can own a car and you can tune a car, but unless you got the horsepower to go out there and win, you can get a little bored traveling somewhere and DNQing. So you go find another place to race. And that's why secondary series like Midwest Pro Mod are actually really good, because there's going to be guys that go into that and they figure out that they're really good, and they put together a marketing program, and then they're going to jump up to the NHRA. That's why, when IHRA was a thing, look at all the guys and girls that came out of there. Terry McMillan and Clay Milliken and like the Laganas and Top Sportsman and Top Dragster and all of those things. Variety and options are good. Exclubro restrictions overdrive almost make them useless. I don't know about that. We'll see. That's the thing. That's what people said about doing it to the Pro Charger, and seemed to be okay. This Sunday's my birthday, Blake. Happy birthday. I'm going to forget by Sunday, though. So happy birthday to you right now, Blake. Blake's my buddy. I met Blake down there in Atlanta. Going bracket racing, what are your thoughts on the new factory experimental class? It seems like it will bring a ton of fans to the sport since the cars will look like street vehicles. Okay, so, if you follow WFO radio on a regular basis for any point in the last 10 years, that and prior on XM satellite radio, one of the consistent drums that I have beaten on the show is that pro stock cars need to look more like their factory counterparts. And that's the only thing I have a beef with in pro stock. Like even the engine combination and the 500 cubic inches and all of that stuff. Like none of that bothers me. The only thing that bothers me is that I can bring someone that's got a Camaro up to a pro stock Camaro, and sometimes they're unsure of what it is. I believe that's very important. And going back to 80s golden era pro stock, like they all had factory A pillar and roof and quarter panel. So I've been saying that long before it was popular, long before anybody else had a show. And that's the benefit of being around for, 10, 15, 20 years doing this format. And nobody listened. Nobody listened. They didn't listen to me, but that's what this class is. Factory appearing race cars. Now, the twist is, and this is something that Chrysler was really trying really hard. Dale Aldo, who many of you know, or many of you don't know, he ran the program over at Chrysler for a long time with the drag packs and such. A few years back when they were really like contemplating the life and death of pro stock, and they did the old back it in rule and everything, Dale Aldo was advocating for current chassis with the new factory showdown style engines. And supposedly they had that thing down to the 1 yard line, and other manufacturers said, "Now we don't want to do that." Okay. And so it kind of fell apart. Well, to me, this factory experimental category is all of that together. And I am super excited about it. And people are talking about, is it going to kill factory showdown? And people are talking about, is this the next pro stock? And I don't know. But it does touch a lot of the different, very important and valuable touchstones that I think are important. Like one, factory bodies. Factory bodies. So like Reinhardt said yesterday, hopefully you listened to that, Justin Lamb's super stock Camaro that won Best Engineered its first time out. We featured on Attention in the Pits. You can go find that, right? They took a real Copo and they cut it. But not only that, Stephen Bell has got something that has been around for several years that looks like it. Drew Skillman and the Skillman Mustang looks like it. A little closer to super stock than these new cars are going to be. These new cars are going to be a little closer, from what I understand, to pro stock. Example, like they're not going to have carpeted interiors, right? Like they don't, from what I understand, they're not mandated to have a carpeted interior. You could have a carbon fiber interior. So imagine the interior of a pro stock car with a Liberty, except out front, you've got a Coyote or the Dodge drag pack engine or the engine that the Camaros use with the supercharger and a Liberty and factory dimensions on the ground. And it doesn't have to be built by General Motors or any affiliated people. You and me can go to a junkyard and pull a 6-cylinder Challenger out of there and go to work and cut it and build the chassis in our garage, as long as it's according to the specs put out by the NHRA. I think it's probably the greatest thing that they've done. I think factory experimental, like in concept, is the greatest thing that I've heard them do. This is what people want to see. right? You're going to have 1,500 horsepower with a little bit shorter wheelbase. They're going to run sixes at just under 200 miles an hour in theory. And why wouldn't you have one? If you're like Greg Stanfield and Aaron Stanfield, like, why wouldn't they have one? That's their business. Why wouldn't Chris Holbrook have one of these things? That's his business, building those engines. Now they are going to have the problems of keeping them equal because you're going to have different combinations, unlike Pro Stock where it's 500 cubic inch and we pretty much know everybody's equal. It's going to be different. And you're going to have, those Ford guys. I'm always so surprised that they are this way. They hate us. I don't know why. NHRA doesn't hate you, man. I don't understand why you feel that way. And you can go on there, but Costello's on WFO saying that we're all crying. Not the racers. Like, it's a crazy, weird thing. NHRA always hates Ford. I don't get it. Educate me. But I think it's probably one of the greatest things that I've heard them do. And will it kill Factory Showdown? I don't think so, because that's a stock eliminator style class with power windows and glass and all that. That's not what this is going to be. And is it going to kill Pro Stock? Maybe 5 years down the road when we have a whole bunch of these factory experimental cars with factory support selling high performance parts, just because that electric stuff is super popular, these factories make money selling high performance parts, and you get Granny off the street with her gas burning car, but you can continue to race, hopefully, which I believe we will. You're going to have factory support in there. Maybe they say, yeah, let's just make this Pro Stock eventually down the road. I don't know. But I love Pro Stock the way it is. And Pro Stock is super healthy. How about Erica and Greg this weekend? Like, are you thinking about that at all times like I am? I was bummed that Reinhardt said it sneezed and gave everybody a pandemic, right? First of all, the timing of that joke. Ugh. How do you not think ahead to what might happen? Yes, in the NASCAR world, I do often say it's easier to talk about what did happen than what might happen. But there's 2 weeks before the Super Bowl for a reason. They don't just play it the next week. They tried that. It didn't work. You got to get everybody thinking about the right stuff. You got 4 different categories. Everybody's got to spend a lot of time thinking about everything. What's going to happen? Q1 is on Friday. We'll know. Hey, Dan Wilkerson. What's up, Danny? Is this factory experimental class running the same kind of transmission crush as Pro Stock? Yes, they are. And with the superchargers and the power bands, what does that mean? I'm hearing that the Coyotes shift, I've heard numbers. I don't even want to say them, but I've heard 11 and I've heard higher. So what does that mean for the person shifting the transmission? I don't know, other than it'd be scary. Congratulations, Daniel, by the way, with Chad, what you guys are doing. I think it's super great. I agree with that point. Do it at PRI or something. Yes. How far is your car away from getting into factory experimental? Engine is out now. Now is the time. Okay, first of all, I think from what I understand, factory, how much money are you away from being able to do anything ridiculous like that? And the answer is a lot. NHRA Super Street, man, and bracket racing. That's all I can do. That's all I'm going to do. I'm considerable money away from doing that and time. But no, you can't have a 1978 Pontiac Trans Am in factory experimental because the factory doesn't even exist anymore. Pontiac. Yeah, we're going to go to the Pontiac factory, and there is not going to be one. But I get where you're going from, Derek. You want to join the special WFO racing team Patreon level? Right? Where everybody gets in on that. I actually thought about that. I've got a buddy who's going to be running in the Moroso 5-day for the very last time. And I considered maybe we need to get in on that as a WFO. Kurt. Hey, Joe Costello. I missed you and Cruz. Hopefully I can go back this evening and watch and listen. Yeah, you can. You go back and watch this anytime on YouTube. I'm just doing a little prolonged discussion with the listeners out there before we do Hidden Horsepower live at 4:00. And you can go over to their social media pages or watch on YouTube and it'll be live. And then I get ready to go to Pomona tomorrow morning, bright and early. Enjoy both Joe's and Monday Morning Racer's show on YouTube. Me and Monday Morning Racer have become friends. How can we not, right? He's a good guy, and he loves drag racing. And he and Slam and Sam, who went through a tough time pretty recently, family-wise. Sam, thinking about you. Yes, Caruso, next prodigy, F Cancer, says Jeff. Don't know why, Jeff, I'm not seeing your name, but I know when you write F Cancer, it's you. Everybody should really be watching on the page. Everybody should switch to YouTube, guys. Then I'll be able to see your stuff. This Facebook, how much negative news does it take for us to just decide to go to YouTube? Sorry, Facebook. Steve says I should be in Pomona waiting to get my media pass emailed to me. Well, good luck with that. I mean, I think it's great. Thanks for watching both, Lonnie. Yeah, Lonnie. Love Lonnie. W for proud and strong. Oh, good. Both are good. But, I really consider, and I know people don't believe me when I say this, but drag racing in our community is really small, guys. That's why any kind of infighting inside this really small community is counterproductive. And the negativity of some of the old timers, back in my day, it was great and everything sucks now. We kind of beaten those guys a little bit. We kind of have tamped them down, a lot of them, because you got a lot of positive energy going on. Brian is positive energy and Wes is positive energy. And I like to think I'm positive energy. And, you can choose negative energy, but I don't know anybody who does. The wagon, Gary, Pontiac wagon. We got in the car and it's 400 Pontiac Safari wagon. Attention in the pits. You can watch it on YouTube. Amazing. Amazing. Because it's stock eliminator. He's like, I do this so I can wear a lap belt and a t-shirt, which I don't know, man. I think I would be wearing a jacket. I think I'd be wearing a fire jacket in a 17-second car for safety purposes. In my conversations with Lyle Barnett, in the time that we've had over the couple times that he's won and stuff, like we talked about a bunch of this stuff. Like, just because you don't have to wear it doesn't mean you shouldn't wear it. And, there's a level, like you don't need a Hans device when you're running a 14-second station wagon. But what does it take to throw a fire jacket in there and wear it? What if something weird happens? A little extra protection. The international comment was from me, Colin Theobald from Santa Pod. Where's my coffee mug? It's not here today. Oh, well. Keep up the great work. Look out for the Williams Brothers Racing coming back to compete in the USA next year. We are hoping to be at the Gators. All the best. Thank you, Colin, for doing that. Thank you for letting me know it was you. Because I had a great time. Everybody tells me I need to get over there. I need to get over to the UK. And when this whole world thing is fixed and we're all back kind of mostly normal, I want to come there and just take it all in. Thank you for saying hello. Now you're talking. Super Street, come play in .90. So, well, that's the only thing I could do. And I would love to do it. And I want to be doing it in my own car as best as I can by Orlando next year. It seems totally impossible, but I'm on the road. That is my plan. So we'll see. In the family car. Eddie, what's up? Yes, on Alex's car. Oh, Scott's on Alex's car too. We got 2 WFOers over there. Way to go. Let me know and I'll try to go find your name. Tony, Joe, have you heard any info on the Top Fuel Harley class for 2022? No, I have not. And that is a class, they were out there in Dallas and they had moved from Houston to Dallas. And a lot of those guys are great and they're racing. The raceability of the bikes are great, but I haven't heard any news. Here's what I will tell you. They need classes like that, need outside title sponsors to ensure them to be there. And you may recall Mickey Thompson was on board and then, they got bought out and they changed the direction of a lot of the stuff that they did. But, who can benefit the most from supporting that class? The travel cost for those guys in the Top Fuel Harleys are just the same as anybody else. Like, it's expensive to get anywhere. Everybody knows that now. So we're going to tow to Dallas, or we're going to tow to Houston, or we're going to tow to Indy, like whatever it is, it's $5,000 to get to a race. That's a number that I hear thrown out by a lot of like sportsman teams, comp teams, Top Fuel Harley teams. Like, I bet you the number is like you got all your stuff, but to go do a race, it's going to cost you at least $5,000, which to the average person that doesn't make that kind of money, that'll make your head spin. But that's what racing is. And that's the low end. And so, as far as sponsors and sponsorship and what's going to happen in the future, just keep your eye on NHRA.com. I know that they're working on it, but there's a lot of different things to work on. Jim, happy birthday, Blake. Everybody saying what's up to Blake. That's how far behind I am in the comments. Santino attacking back. I'll send some pictures your way. Just got a new crank in. It's coming along. That's right. Well, yeah, do it the right way. And then when it's together, it's together. That's my plan, at least. I'm just giving you trouble, Santino. And I want to loop the audience in on your project. Like maybe there's 10 people out there that can't stand me, but they will log on to see the latest details on your project. Joe's going to get emails. Yeah, I am going to get emails. No, listen, I try to be real and positive. Plan for the best, but expect the worst. That's kind of the way I do it. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Rick says, hello. Hello, Rick. Please help get the word to the higher-ups. I love the word higher-ups because everybody uses it. And what does it really mean? At NHRA about how much factory experimental is going to help our sport. It needs to be televised at least during a little of the pro races, even for only 5 minutes. You know what, going bracket racing? I think they know. All this stuff that is happening behind the scenes at the NHRA isn't an accident. Let's go back to the beginning of the pandemic and all the different maneuvers and steps and things that have happened from 4 qualifying sessions to 2 qualifying sessions to 3 qualifying sessions, races that were moved, maneuvered, race tracks that didn't want to do the race, and NHRA went in there and did the race. The old thought process that the NHRA higher-ups were totally disconnected from reality and, like another one, hate the racers. Like you'll find racers who say that stuff. It's just so disconnected from the truth. I think they have done a great job. Like if we're going to grade, how did NHRA do surviving the meteor, which was the pandemic, right? Like I think they did a pretty great job. And if you look at all the growth and the people and the things that are happening for the future, wow. And factory experimental and other stuff, by the way, that they're bantering about, other stuff that are going to be real game changers. And I don't want to give any one person the credit because it is a team effort. And I get to know about certain things and they're working on stuff. And I'll voice my opinion. Y'all's crazy. YouTube is great. WFO Radio TV on YouTube, y'all. Let's get everybody over there on YouTube. Let's just make the YouTube thing. Let's get me 1 million subscribers and so that I don't just do shows for the rest of my life. Didn't you say you were on the Dragzine podcast lately? Went there, don't see it. I was. Maybe they didn't put it up yet. It was the SEMA edition. It was Joe walking around at SEMA. Got to talk with, I did the interviews. It was crazy. It was pretty fun. Honestly, how can you be negative this year? It's just nuts. If we just had Funny Car, that'd be enough. Good times right now. And that's why we get along so great. Exactly. The biggest problem we've got in the NHRA right now is too many stories to tell. Too many great athletes. Too many compelling and interesting things going on at one time. 10 pounds of stuff to put in the 5-pound bag. That's our greatest thing. Oh, what great story are we going to cut? That's our biggest, that's one of our big problems. I don't want to call anything our biggest problem. There's a bunch of problems. There's always going to be problems, everybody. Always. When do we get a Lyle interview? We're going to get a big Lyle Barnett super show during the off season. Lyle and I have spoken about it. I've been wanting to get, this year has been real tough and doing these live streams like what I'm doing right now. Like I guess I could have had Lyle on, but I just planned to have Cruz on and get ready to get out the door. And then I'm talking to the audience, trying to do something big before the Auto Club finals. But Lyle has agreed to come on during the winter break, which starts next week. I've been around for 71 years and find that today's NHRA and others are actually the best of times. Live for today. Way to go, Jim. Thank you. Reinhardt says it. I say it. The best of times are right now because number one, we get to enjoy them. Like we're alive. Not everybody is. Not everybody who was around yesterday is around today. So, what kind of perspective do you want to bring to the situation? I hate to be morbid, but there's a lot of that going on. And number two, yeah, you can think about the days when there were 64 funny cars, but how many of those 64 funny cars were really good quality funny cars? The answer is not as many. Not as many. Now you've got like that, Tony Gerardo. Like, man, these guys got real cars, man. They're coming out. that Jason Bunker. This guy is ready to go. If they had the money, they could compete for a countdown. Wow. I think people are realizing, though. I think a lot of the things that I'm saying, I'm not ahead of the curve here. I think people are realizing, like, it's time to do stuff. Are you a drag racer? You drag race? What do you want to do? You got $5 million to spend over a couple of years. You go buy a big, badass boat. That would be cool. Boats are a lot of work. Boats need maintenance, people. You have to worry about your friends. Why do they like me? Is it for me? Or is it for my big, badass boat? Probably the boat. Or are you a drag racer? You're going to go drag racing. If you're a drag racer, you should go drag racing. I do find it a little annoying that there's so many good quality cars just sitting in a garage somewhere. Like, hey, I built a car. Yeah, well, and myself included. Steve, I wear a helmet when I was drag racing my 14-second Mini Cooper. If you've got the helmet, this is what I always say. If you got the helmet, why are you not going to wear the helmet? Well, it's inconvenient. I can feel the pressure on my head. No. I run a 13-second car or a 15-second car. Okay, if I was in my 17-second pickup truck, maybe I wouldn't wear the helmet. Maybe. I'd have to assess the situation at the time. But in the 13-second GTO, I'm wearing the helmet. Tire blows out, something stupid happens. I ding the wall, I hit the, it's there for a reason. You have it. You already paid for it. Use things you paid for, people. Roger Richards is on his way to Pomona. Way to go, Roger. Hopefully listening audio only or stopped in a truck stop right now. This guy, everybody knows Roger Richards is one of the good ones out there. Hear anything about Route 66 for 2023? No, I haven't. The only things that I've heard about Route 66 are negative things, which is very, very sad. I've only heard negative things. It's just like Palm Beach International Raceway. I've only heard negative things, which are very sad. But, when Brett Kepner was on, anybody that, talks negative, drag strips are closing, he says like 15 opened this past year or something. So, one door closes, another door opens. Drag racing will find a way, like Jurassic Park. See you at the track. I want that autograph. Should I give Eddie an autograph? I always feel very weird about giving autographs to people. I don't believe I'm autograph worthy to be giving them. I'll be happy to receive anyone's autograph. But I've never been into autographs. I will gladly give Eddie an autograph if he wants it. I don't know. I just do a live stream show. Cromwell knows what's up. Yeah, Cromwell knows what's up for 2024, 2025. They know a bunch of stuff, which is why, seeing them invest and do things is good. I think NHRA did way better in the pandemic during IndyCar, probably than IndyCar. I don't dislike IndyCar at all. I love motorsports. I like IndyCar. I just think NHRA is the everyman motorsport. People can relate to us so much better than everything else. Everyone has stepped on the pedal to feel the acceleration, to merge. Everybody has thought about smashing the gas on that green light. Everybody. IndyCar is a different kind of thing. Have you considered going to the Snowbird Nationals? Yeah, I have. Bradenton is 4 hours over there. And I've got racing there on the East Coast. And, maybe, but honestly, after seeing all the races I've seen this year, I think whatever time I spend going to watch other people race at the Snowbirds might be better served doing something to my own car in my own garage. But I'm not saying no. I am going over to the West Coast to defeat Flying Ryan Ayler in Joe versus Pro at that Showtime drag strip over there in Tampa, St. Pete, the 8th mile track that used to be Sunshine. We're doing that, and it's like Wednesday, the 29th of December. And there's also a 32-car field where people can pay and race the cars as well and win a shootout. So let's get a bunch of WFO listeners out there and, bring flags and the whole thing. Let's make it crazy, right? Not too crazy. See all the stuff in the news, man. You got to think, oh, yeah, when things get crazy, it gets bad. Are we going to see more behind-the-scenes tech segments from you and Reinhardt this year? What do you mean this year? Like this year that just passed or 2022? Behind-the-scenes tech. You want to see behind-the-scenes tech? Go to the Total Seal YouTube channel and get ready for Hidden Horsepower at 4 o'clock live. Ben Strader, Lake Speed, myself, and Engine doing technical stuff. Reinhardt loves the tech stuff. I am only marginal into the tech stuff. My opinion is, and this is why Reinhardt is so great for his wheelhouse, right? He's really genuinely, and so am I, I'm interested, but I don't like to tune a nitro car. How do you tune a nitro car? I think it's interesting, and I want to know as much as people will teach me. But I don't believe that every person wants to know how to tune a nitro car. I think a lot of people think about the personalities and they want their guy to win. And they want to know who's going to win and how did he win and how fast is he going to go and what's going to happen, like sports, right? There are some people that want to know how to read a defense. And the sports talk guys, they fight that as well. Like, what are you looking at to try to read what defense are they in? What are they going to throw at me in this situation? It's like, I'm not a quarterback. I want the freaking Miami Dolphins to win a game because I'm a fan and I just want to be a fan of it. That's a different silo. There are different levels of fandom. And so Reinhardt with the tech segments, this is this is that. I love it. I learn, I watch them. My stuff is more for look at Gary Riley's amazing stock eliminator station wagon. When'd you get this? Wow. Why are you doing this? Maybe a little more about the people, but Reinhardt loves doing tech segments. Everyone, Blake saying thank you to everybody. Way to go, Blake. Lyle is the ultimate comeback story. Great racer, still a normal, relatable guy. He's great for the fans. Yeah, he's super relatable. Like a regular guy. But not because he's a drag racer. And no real drag racers are regular guys. That's the thing. To choose to do this. What do I do for hobby? I solve problems. I create myself stress in difficult situations. I go out and try to whip people's butts on the racetrack. You really have to respect the lower funded teams who come out and compete. Not only are they competitive, but they also have less than half of the track time. Takes a very smart crew chief. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wish there was a way to reward them even more. I think we're seeing the sport come back to them with the whole single car thing happening. You realize teams like Capco who make their parts available, like you too can have good stuff. You don't have to use that old, stuff that you got 10 years ago and make it survive. There will be cylinder heads available soon that you can purchase, and they are great. That changes everything. Like sometime in the future, the effect of Bobby Lagana, I don't want to give all credit to any one person, but if I had to really give credit to a person, I think it would be to Bobby and Dom Lagana. And they would have to tell you the genesis of the concept. Like, did they go to Billy and Mama Kay and say, look, here's why we want to do this? But when they started running their Capco team on the parts intervals that they did, which were unheard of, and I even had guys from, DSR and others, JFR and Coletta, explain to me that their parts cycles were considerably shorter than everybody else. And why? They use it for brand new, right? You've heard the term knock the new off. They knock the new off and then sell it to somebody who needs it, and they pay, and they get something at a discount that's still great. And those parts have disseminated throughout the entire drag racing ecosystem from here to Australia. And that has probably helped the sport more than anything. And where did that come from? Based on what those two have told me, it's because they were the guy buying the secondhand parts, and they realized, for a team like Torrance, if they want to win, say you're planning on winning 4 championships in a row, the way to avoid those problems is to not run your parts too long. And so they've always got the freshest of parts, and everybody else has really good stuff too, thanks to that program. That should be delved into as deeply as possible for, what is really helping drag racing. And it comes down to those two guys, and Mama Kay and Billy and Steve, who green lighted the program. Cause wait a second, we're going to buy something brand new and then we're going to sell it immediately afterwards after we've used it 3 times. Yes. I don't know. I think that took a little courage and a little creative thinking too. We'll see. We'll see how people view it in the future. We took a picture. Me and AJ took a picture, I believe, out there in Maple Grove. I think they handle the schedules and the shows better than IndyCar. Thank you very much, Nicole, who has a podcast called Women Take the Wheel. I don't mind promoting Nicole Clark Erickson, who has been a media person out there, and she's got a podcast that she does where she speaks with women in the biz, and I think it is great. Jeff, here we go. A helmet, a single layer jacket is worth its weight in gold even in a slower car. Absolutely. You're a celebrity to all follow NHRA. I don't know about that, but thank you for saying that, Eddie. I appreciate it. It is interesting. And John Force and I have had this conversation where, like, you're a celebrity here. And in my case, it would be like minor. But then you step into a mall that's a quarter mile away and you're not. It's very weird. Maddie, what's up, Maddie? It's got Maddie's sticker back there still. Thank you, Nicole. And that'll be the last comment here today on our show. Thank you, Nicole. And we'll play the music and get out of here. All right, guys. Thank you for entertaining me with this little talk back and forth about subjects involving drag racing. You know, it's the Auto Club Finals. I wanted to make sure that everybody got their comment in and everybody is as hyped up as I am. I'm super excited. If you want to see more, if you want to get techie, if you want to learn about engines, Total Seal from EFI University. There's a Facebook group. You can go find it right now. There's a Facebook page. You can go find it right now. Or YouTube, where I think you will prefer going. Total Seal on YouTube. And that video will pop up at 4 o'clock. And it'll be good. We'll be having a fun time. To all my drag racer buddies, you know, thank you so much for a great year. I know we're going to do it for the final time. And everybody is going to be exhausted Sunday night at 6 o'clock. But a year for the ages. And to Greg and Erica, like, good luck. You guys have battled all year. You put on an amazing show. And to Caps, Hagen, and Cruz, good luck. What a season. What an amazing battle. Nobody deserves to lose. It's unfortunate. We can only have one champion. Pro Stock Motorcycle. Steve Johnson was on yesterday. Off the rails, of course. Angel was on a couple weeks ago. Right? Matt Smith, who's a consistent participant in this show on a regular basis. Him and Angie, they're like regulars. You know, whatever happens, happens. Like the racing gods will decide. And then Top Fuel. Team Capco. They have been the best all year long. They're just going to bring it home. No disrespect to David Grubnick and Brittany Forrest, who have been the second best all season long. And all the others, like Mike Salinas and Justin Ashley, who have come on strong. Justin put a WFO sticker on his car. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if that brought him good mojo and he actually won the Auto Club Finals because of that sticker? But certainly, that's the only reason. And finally, yeah, how about this guy? Bringing me back to reality. The most important thing I should have said right at the beginning, to all the United States Marines out there, happy Marine Corps birthday. I just got off my dad, my phone with my dad, wishing him happy Marine Corps birthday. And that is an absolute fact. To all the United States Marines out there, happy birthday. Huge day. Tomorrow, Veterans Day. I won't be on the air, but to our veterans as well. Happy Veterans Day. And thank you for your service. All right, guys. We'll see you later on Total Seal and then later in Pomona. WFO.